Not a joke. This is exactly what we will do today. Welcome, it's Egwin. Welcome to Beyond Systems and welcome to my channel. Now, today I share this strange looking exercise with you. And as you know, I always like to introduce some not so common possibilities that we share in our human bodies. Today specifically with this exercise, we are looking into mobility and also in a form of locomotion that for a couple of different reasons we typically are not used to. What this exercise can give you is a deeper understanding of your body, of your muscular activation in the body, of axis in your body, and also a deeper connection to your whole being upright eventually. So this is an exercise that supports your posture and also your movement habits at once. Let me explain real quick. First of all, most of the time we are used to move forward. And frankly, we are really not very well built for moving backwards. Our eyes are located in front of us, our nose, our ears, everything sort of projects forward. And as do our knees, our ankles, all of that is designed to open towards the front, more so than towards the rear. When we do an exercise like the one I just showed you on the ground, then first of all, we do not really have any specific visual confirmation of whether or not we're actually going in the correct direction. So we rely more on our proprioceptive sense to do so. And this also triggers our awareness to create more of a bubble around us rather than purely being in a tunnel view type of forward-oriented focus. So this is the first thing this exercise really gives you. You create a much more full surround awareness of what's going on, and this can help you tremendously to be balanced and to be aware in your regular day. No matter if you're walking down the street and you need to be aware of cars, or you just walk somewhere out in the forest or on a mountain, whatever it might be, it just gives you this additional element of more alert and awareness, but not in a threatened sense, but rather in a just simple physical body connected with nature, with surrounding, to put it even more neutral sense. The next thing, obviously, what we are doing here, what is it that we are doing here? Okay, let me explain real quick. Basically, what we do is we use a side tilt motion, but one that propels us forward. The forward momentum is generated by the arm that is previously tucked, and the arm is doing a lot of the push back that's actually happening. I have to say, this exercise works obviously much better if the floor is slippery. Even the floor in here is kind of sticky because the humidity here is quite high. So if you have a really slippery floor, that's just absolutely perfect for this exercise. As long as your hands somewhat stick on the ground, it's perfect. So basically, what we're looking for is this tuck of one side of the body. My left side now is the tucked, is the quote-unquote compressed side. The other one is the open one. And now it's about a dynamic change of pushing away with the left arm, closing the right side up, and pulling the arm in while trying to push the leg away into the new direction. So here comes the next very important thing that we learn with this exercise. It is a center-organized exercise. What does this mean? Typically, we use our legs to govern our center unless we are trained in some sort of martial art or whatever it might be, where our center takes a good portion of the governing component. However, in this exercise, the legs, they do aim for a new direction, but the whole power for all of this comes from our core area. And our core, I always talk about the extended core area, so it's not just our abdominal muscles here, but it is also our abductors in the hip, of course. So it's really this whole portion here that governs and motors the direction, and the arm that then helps you to push further back. Basically, it's about a tension shift from one side to the other with a locomotion intent in mind. So let's take a look at this one more time. To start with, I lie flat on my belly, legs go out straight behind me, my palms are facing down to the ground. Now let's start and prime the movement. To prime the movement, I pull my legs towards the left and I try to tilt my spine towards the left in order to arch here. Also, I pull the left hand as close to my chest as possible on the left side, whereas the right hand stays in front of my head here. From this position, what's happening, I try to push the hand away towards the front. But still, I hope for the hand not slipping, which then allows me to push off from this hand, off and backwards. This would go a lot smoother, were the floor not that slippery. And like I said, you will see it on your own when you try this exercise. So from here, what I do, I push into the arm. And at the same time, when I push into the arm, I contract my left side of the body. This creates the arch in the opposite direction, and that's also when I pull my right arm back in. And then I do the opposite. I push with the right arm on the ground. And I contract the left side of my body. So it's always, it's a push in the arm that originates from the closing action of the body on the other side. It's not so much the arm pushing and then at some point the body closing. It's the opposite. It's the body starts to close on the previously open side, and that's what creates the push in the arm. And then the arm just simply tries to extend that a little bit further. If you have a really slippery floor, like for instance a plastic floor in a gym, or say just tiles on the ground, and you wear dry clothes that are really slippery on there, then you'll see that it's quite funny actually, because you can actually, with every single push, you can actually slip forward rather than just push yourself forward. So you gain quite some momentum actually, which really makes this exercise fun. What is another very intense or very great benefit of this specific exercise? That is specifically the workout you give your spine. See, the spine is an absolute wondrous thing. It helps us in so many different ways, and it connects us in so many different ways. It is an essential part of what gives us space to move. When I lie down in this position, and I'm contracted on the left right now, I start with my right side contracting. Left side releases by that point. See, my whole spine side laterally flexes, side bends with it, even my cervical spine. So it's a front-back movement, in this case, a movement that's oriented towards my feet, but that is generated by my lateral flexion, which is something totally atypical when you think about it in regard to human locomotion. most of the time we think about flexing the joints, moving the joints in a sagittal plane so we get the forward momentum, the forward drive. And that's also what should be happening for healthy human locomotion. This is more of a primal exploration of where our body comes from and what our body is capable of. But by reconnecting with that movement and with that ability of also locomote through our environment using the side rather than front or back, we also regain more connection to our full scope of movement potential. And not just movement potential, but as I said before at the beginning, also our perceptual capacity. Because once we have done that a couple of times and then we stand up, you'll immediately realize that, for example, your peripheral vision is much better than before. So you're not as focused with your gaze than before, and you also perceive the things left and right of yourself much, much better, which in some real-life scenarios can actually be absolutely helpful, and not just helpful, but really a matter of survival. Now, when we walk with this lateral flexion, having done that lateral aspect before, you'll also realize that suddenly you're much more stable. While in walking, okay, your momentum is forward again, but you'll almost feel as if your left and right was much more clearly defined. Not in the sense of a border that limits you, but in the sense of stability in a positive sense. All right, have a beautiful time trying this out. See how it rolls for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more like this, if you have specific questions. Other than that, have a beautiful time. See you around tomorrow, and hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to stay up to date with more information. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.